I owned this land for years. 750 acres, passed down from my family. But one morning, everything changed, and it started with a single sign. There were sold signs everywhere. On my land at first, I thought it was some kind of mistake. But it wasn't a mistake. It was a setup. That's when she showed up. The head of the HOA, acting like she owned everything, including my land. Then the sheriff arrived. They had called the police on me, on my own property. And that's when things got serious. They handed me papers, claiming the HOA had legally taken control, sold parts of my land, without me even knowing. I couldn't believe what I was reading. It didn't make sense. There was no way this was legal. But they thought they had. She smiled, like it was over. Like she had just stolen everything. Like I had no way to fight. That was her biggest mistake. They didn't know a thing. I had documents too, old ones, powerful ones, and I was about to use them. I went back to my house, dug through every file my family had, and then I found it. The document that would flip everything. It was all there. Proof that they had no authority. Proof that every sale they made was illegal. I went back the next day. But this time, I wasn't confused. I wasn't angry. I was ready. I handed the sheriff my papers. His face changed instantly. He realized something was wrong. Very wrong. For the first time, she looked worried. That confidence, it was gone. Just like that. The sheriff read everything carefully, line by line. Then he looked at her, and everything flipped. You don't own this land. His words hit hard. She froze. And I knew this was just the beginning. She tried to argue back, claiming it was all legal. But her voice, it wasn't as strong anymore, because she knew the truth was out. The sheriff didn't hesitate. He made it clear those sales were invalid, and things were about to get worse for her. Neighbors started coming out. They heard everything. Confusion turned into panic. Because they had bought those homes, people were asking questions, demanding answers. They had invested everything, and now it was all uncertain. She was losing control fast. The same people who trusted her were now turning against her, and there was nothing she could do. For the first time, I wasn't the one being questioned. All eyes shifted to her, and I just stood there, watching. The sheriff explained everything. The land was never theirs to sell. Every deal, invalid, and that changed everything. You could see it in their faces. Shock, fear, regret. Their dream homes were built on a lie. That's when I stepped forward, calm, controlled. Because now, I had the power. I told them the truth. This land was still mine. And legally, everything here belonged to me. Some were angry. Some were scared. But most of them, realized, they'd been fooled. She tried to walk away quietly, like she could escape this. But it was too late. The sheriff stopped her. Asked her to stay. Because now, she had a lot to answer for. I didn't say much. I didn't need to. Everything was unfolding perfectly. Just like it should. The entire neighborhood felt it. The shift. The truth rising to the surface. And there was no going back. But it wasn't done yet. This wasn't just about proving them wrong, it was about fixing everything my way. I made it official, filed everything properly, locked in my ownership, no more loopholes. She had nothing left to say. No control, no power. Just consequences. The residents started talking, trying to figure things out. But deep down, they knew what was coming. I made a decision, one that would change everything. Not out of anger, but out of fairness. I gave them a choice. A real, legal one. Something they never had before. A second chance. They listened closely, because now their future depended on it. And they knew it. One by one, they started agreeing, trust slowly rebuilding, where lies once stood. She watched it all happen. Everything she built, falling apart. Right in front of her, the sheriff stayed close, making sure everything stayed fair. This time, by the book, new agreements were signed. Real ones. Honest ones. The way it should have been. I oversaw everything, making sure no one got hurt, because this wasn't revenge. It was justice. Things started calming down. The chaos faded, and something new began. Something real. That road where it all started now felt different, like a fresh beginning. I looked over my land. Still, mine. Still strong. Just like always. The houses remained, but the control didn't. That part was finally over. I wasn't angry anymore. I didn't need to be, because in the end, truth handled everything. The sheriff shook my hand, respect in his eyes, because he knew what really happened here. Balance was restored. Land, two people, everything, the way it was meant to be. At last, some battles aren't about fighting. They're about standing your ground and letting truth do the rest. Like and subscribe and tell me, where are you watching from? Where are you watching from?